So kind of digging into the individual projects again, why are we not just sticking with them? And I mean, some of the advantages of them is there's no fees, there's 12% return, and it is just a short-term commitment.
Yeah, so we plan to continue to do our current offerings the same way that we have. One of the challenges of our current business structure is that only Arizona residents can invest in those individual projects. And so we've had a lot of people who have wanted to invest in Arizona, and they might not live here, but they know what's happening here. And they like our strategy. They like our approach. And so this gives us the opportunity to let non-Arizona residents invest.
Yes.
And we will continue to do individual projects. So some investors do like saying, hey, I know that project, I like the plans, and I'm going to invest in that building. And there's something to that when you can drive by a building and say, I've invested in that, and that's great. There are other investors who aren't as tied to one building, but they might want to know, hey, I'm going to invest in 10 buildings over a period of time and own a piece of each of those 10. And that's really how the REIT will be structured, is that you'll own a piece of a broader portfolio of buildings.
And I love that we give our investors some options. There's something that's going to fit. It's a way to diversify, right, your investments, but also you can look at what fits me best, what fits my family. And as a lot of them are growing up and your life is changing and going through, one thing may make more sense than the other as time goes on.
Yeah, because one of the other challenges of the individual projects is a lot of times as investors, we have capital and we don't determine when that capital is available. So, an investment matures and we get $25,000 or we get a bonus or something at work and we want to put it to work right now. And when it's an individual project, you have to wait for that project to come up.
Yeah.
And then once it comes up, you can invest. Yeah. With the REIT, it's open 24/7 to invest in online. And the day that you invest, yeah, it's like always open. And when you invest, that day is when you begin accruing your returns. So that's the big
money to be working for them all the time. Yeah. And that is probably on the when I talk to people, probably the question I get the most, even if it's the very end of another call, is, well, is there anything coming up? When's your next project? That is what they're most interested in. And it's nice to be able to be like, don't you worry. Have we talked about the REIT? I have something for you. So
to Heather's point, giving our investors more options is what we're after. And the core of what we do remains the same. We're finding properties that are in good locations that need to be repositioned, that we see a lot of value that can be unlocked there. That's what we continue to do. Now you can just invest in that same idea and in our overall team and philosophy in just a different way.
Fair. That makes a lot of sense. So how do you determine the net asset value?
This is math, so this question belongs to James. I'm here for personality.
So net asset value is used when you determine the price of the value of your ownership in the REIT, and you will have a net asset value share price. And so what happens is every quarter we will look at the value of all of the assets we own, subtract any of the liabilities, and show what is left over that is owned by the investors. And then that will be divided by the number of investors and the number of shares, and it'll show the share price. Very same thing happens when you own a public company. You look at the total market cap is what it's called, and you divide it by the number of shares that are outstanding, and that's how you determine the share price. So the net asset value, it really is a good description of what we do. Is we look at the value of all the assets we own, divide it by the number of shares that are outstanding, and that will show you the share price. The par share price for the NV REIT is $100. So when you come back and you start to look at the growth in your value of the shares, you'll use $100 is your kind of par value. And then, in period of time, you come back and the value is $125 per share. And so it's increased $25 or, 25%. And that's how you'll be able to see your value of your shares grow. The other thing on top of net asset value is you also get dividends. So, or we call them distributions. So the net asset value is going to be what you'll look at to see how much your shares value has gone up, but you're also going to be getting 5% that we've announced cash distributions, and that's on top of the net asset value increase. So that's the nice thing about the REIT is we're paying a 5% cash distribution, and your net asset value will be going up as well.